My dear brothers and sisters in Christ Jesus, the gospel passage is all about multiplication of 5 loaves and 2 fish. First reading, we heard how Prophet Isaiah chapter 55 consoles the Jewish exiles in Babylon and assures them of returning home. And he promises them that God will prepare a heavenly banquet. Come and enjoy the rich food without money. You don't have to pay. The second reading, St. Paul argues with the Romans through his letter to the Romans that nothing can come between us and the love of God in Christ, not even persecution, not even lack of food or water, not even suffering. Even lack of food cannot prevent us being with the Lord. And Christ, in the gospel we find, multiplies, but he demands the apostles' meal. All that they had was a single meal, apostles' meal. But when they gave these apostles' meals, it became Eucharistic banquet or Eucharistic fellowship. A touching and true story from the American church history illustrates this gospel. A touching and real story. A pastor, his name is Russell Conwell, writes, American pastor from Philadelphia, writes a book called Acres of Diamond. In one of the chapters, he titles Those 57 Cents. What does it mean, those 57 cents? It's all about a story that had happened in his parish. He was the pastor of Grace Baptist Church in around 1884. A little girl called May Hattie longed to go to attend the Sunday catechism. But because the Sunday catechism rooms were full, it happened she was turned away. She was very sad. After hearing this news, the pastor, Reverend Dr. Conwell Russell, went to her and made her comfortable and brought her back next Sunday for the Sunday catechism. And he made a space for her. This little act of kindness of the pastor Conwell deeply moved her. She dreamt of having a larger classrooms for all the children so that nobody could be turned away. So from then on, 2 years she has been collecting money to build a room or larger classrooms for Sunday catechism. Unfortunately, in 1886, 2 years later, she fell sick and lost her life. While gathering all her belongings, they discovered a purse. In the purse, there were 57 cents. And along with those, mostly those were pennies. Along with those 57 cents, there was a letter. The letter carried a message. For the past over 2 years, I have been collecting all these amount of 57 cents, and these 57 cents will be forwarded to build a larger classrooms, which is insignificant. 57 cents cannot do in any way to build a larger classroom. But that was her dream. And on her funeral, on the day of her funeral, Pastor Conwell Russell brought those 57 cents and those letter. While preaching the homily, he addressed to all the congregation, faithful, this is the 57 cent, and this is the letter that she dreamt of having a larger classrooms for the catechism children. For the past 2 years, she has been collecting pennies and pennies, and it's now amounting 57. People were touched and moved by the little act that this little girl heard. Her faith, her confidence that she can build. And people started pouring donations after donations. Then it happened, one of the realtor happened to know the news in Philadelphia. He offered a great large piece of property as a gesture of 57 cents. And eventually, over the years, a lot of donations poured out towards this noble cause. That Dr. Cornwell Russell writes later, because of those 57s, we had thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. We could build Grace Baptist Church. We could build a Samaritan hospital. We could build a temple universities and a large classrooms for Sunday catechism students. In one of the classrooms, her portrait is being hanged on the wall along with 57 cents. A little act of 57 cents has been amounted to a large, extraordinary, and innumerable and amplified charity. Let us come back to the gospel today. Apostles' meal, 5 loaves, 2 fish. Christ is being placed in the gospel with the humanly impossible situation. The disciples think, okay, it is evening, the crowd is very large, we have very little, perhaps 57 cents. What can this do to feed these people? But Christ has a different understanding. He has a different plan from the disciples. He says, bring that 57 cents. Bring that 5 loaves and 2 fish. Give it to me. Christ did not begin the miracle with abundance, but he expected a willingness and generosity from the apostles, those who had a little lunch or a little package of food, maybe 5 loaves and 2 fish or 57 cents. Though, humanly speaking, they were very insignificant. But when these 5 loaves and 2 fish was placed in the hands of the Lord, they were not little anymore. And this apostles' meal, single meal, became a fellowship Eucharistic or Eucharistic fellowship. What we do in the Eucharist? We do Eucharist, we do offer the 5 loaves and 2 fish, rather the bread and wine, the work of human hands or labors of human hands and the fruit of the earth. But as he did today's gospel, he blessed, lifted the prayers and gave them. Similarly, it happens on the altar. We place our little bread and wine, but when the priest blesses, it's been given to everyone. The apostles' meals will definitely transform when it's placed in the hands of the Lord to the Eucharistic fellowship. All that the miracle will teach us is whatever you have little, maybe the little 57 cents, maybe one meal or 5 loaves and 2 fish. Don't keep it in our hands, but keep in the hands of the Lord. He will transform that single meal into Eucharistic fellowship where everyone receives. While the disciples calculated, how can it be possible? Christ contemplated. While the disciples measured, it's impossible. Christ multiplied. While the disciples looked what is lacking, Christ forced and he foresaw what is available. Christ blessed the bread. The disciples distributed. Christ miracled. He did the miracle, but the mission began with his disciples. They did not create, but they carried the miracle. Today, as we reflect upon the 5 loaves and 2 fish, which may be insignificant, in the human's eyes. But when it's placed in the hands of the Lord, that single meal can be transformed into Eucharistic fellowship where everyone can receive. That itself is miracle. One meal could feed 5,000 men alone, besides women and children. All that Christ wants is share whatever we have. We may have 57 cents, definitely. We have 5 loaves and 2 fish, but do not keep in our hands. Place it in the hands of the Lord. May it be the resources, may it be the talents, may it be our calibers or charisms. Place it in the hands of the Lord. Let's pause a while and reflect.